Welcome to Course 1, Unit 1, Lesson 1. What is value investing? In this lesson, we're going to have three objectives. The first objective is the difference between value trading and value investing, the difference between an asset and a liability, and who created value investing. So to get this started, we're going to go ahead and go to a person's site called Kyle McDonald. Okay, so here I am at Kyle McDonald's website called One Red Paperclip, and what he did was he had an experiment where he started off with one red paperclip and he wanted to see if he could trade that up in value and see what the item was that he could trade it into. So he started off with one red paperclip, and as you look at his site, we'll click on the next thing that he traded the paperclip for. And as he was trying to go up in value, let's just say that his paperclip was worth maybe 5 cents. So he traded up to a fish pen was the next item. So let's just say the fish pen was worth $1. So we'll click and see what he traded the fish pen for here. And he traded the fish pen for what looks to be a doorknob. And so he kept trading items up and up and up. And he started off, as you look at his little timeline here with the pictures, you can see where he started off with the paper clip to the fish pen to the doorknob to like a Coleman stove. And each item kept progressively getting more valuable, clear up to a house. And he traded all of those items within a year to a year and a half. And something that he understood was that he knew what the value of the next item that he was trading up into, what it was worth, and so he just took advantage of that until he actually owned a home. So let's go to some slides and pick this apart and see what was actually going on. So this is the big question: was Kyle McDonald conducting value trading or value investing? Since this first lesson is about value investing, you probably have a pretty good idea of where I'm going with this, in that Kyle was actually doing what I would call value trading. There's a pretty big difference between value investing and value trading, in my opinion. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So, okay, when he made that trade with the other person for that fish pen, when that trade happened, that fish pen, as he held that and he was waiting to trade that for the doorknob, let's say that that was over a 10-day period. As he was holding that fish pen, immediately after the trade with the paperclip, that 10 days that he held onto that fish pen, did the fish pen become more valuable during that time period? During those 10 days, did the fish pen, let's just say it was worth $1. Over that 10-day period, did the fish pen now become worth $1.10? Or, let's say he held that fish pen for a year. Would the fish pen then become worth $1.10 or $1.20? Or would it still be generally worth $1, not to include the inflation on it? And to answer that, you'd obviously have to say that the fish pen did not grow in value while he held it. It just pretty much stayed exactly the same. It didn't grow in value at all. So that's why I would say that this is value trading opposed to value investing. So as we look at that difference of that growth while you're holding the item or the asset, you're going to find that an asset, if you'd hold an asset throughout that trading period, it would not only hold its value, but it'd also grow in value and put more money in your pocket. So in order to understand value investing, we have to step in here and figure out what is an asset, okay? Because the fish pen, that's not an asset. That's just an item that's going to continue to hold its value. So as we look at these four items on the screen, you can see in the top left there's a house, okay? Would you say that that's an asset or not? Now, a lot of people will argue that a house is an asset. I would not argue that. I would say that it is not an asset. It simply maintains its value. As you look at the next spot over there, this is an apartment building. Now, this is something that we can consider an asset, because after you buy this is going to continue to put more and more money into your pocket. Okay, I put the microwave in here as a representation of a patent. Let's say you had a patent on a part inside of the microwave. So that patent would be an enormous asset, because you're not really having to pay anything out in order to possess it unless you purchased the patent from somebody. But let's say you came up with the patent that is going to continue to put money in your pocket every single month. Okay, and the last one, the car. So when you own a car, it's decreasing in value every year, every month. And not only that, but you're making payments on the car every single month. So in the end, that's definitely not an asset, and that's something we would actually call a liability. To summarize, when you're talking about an asset, the simple way to look at it is an asset is something that's going to continue to put more money in your pocket every single month as you continue to own it. So let's go over here and look at a liability. So there's the car, which is the liability. And I'm sure you can think of many other things in your day-to-day life that takes money out of your pocket every single paycheck. And that is definitely something that you can classify as a liability. So assets versus liabilities. As I said, the asset's going to put money into your pocket. The liability is going to take that money and take it out. So when we're trying to define a person who's wealthy versus a person who's not wealthy, the wealthy person is the person who accumulates assets. Every month they're doing whatever it takes in order for them to buy and own and possess more and more assets. So I obviously use the apartment building there, that they have 3 apartment buildings, but that could be anything. The assets could be the apartment buildings, it could be the patent, it could be a small stock, which that's what we're really going to be focusing on throughout this entire website. But each time you own that asset, it's putting more and more money in your pocket each month. So the wealthy, the rich people, they accumulate assets and they do everything in their power to minimize their liabilities because that's what takes the money out of their pocket. And so the opposite of that would be not necessarily a poor person. It could be whoever, but here's a person that has one asset, which is their job, and it pays them, their salary, and it goes into their pocket. And then this person accumulates liabilities, and so they have the exact opposite thing happening where they can really never improve their way of life and their social standing. So what is value investing? We talked about value trading with the paperclip and how Kyle McDonald was always trading that paperclip up, but the difference between value trading and value investing is when you value invest, you do exactly what Kyle was doing with the paper clips, but you're doing it with assets. So while you're holding that fish pen for 10 days or a year or whatever the case would be, that fish pen is actually growing in value and it's increasing and putting more money in your pocket as you wait for the next trade, if you even do the next trade. The asset alone might be enough to just keep putting money in your pocket. So that's really what value investing is. It's a combination of both of those things that we just learned about. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through a scenario here so that we can see how Warren Buffett invests. So when Warren Buffett conducts value investing, it would go something like this. Wow, look, here's a company called See's Candy. I'm going to look at all their financial information and determine what I think this company is worth. After a little analysis, he determines that the company is worth $40 a share. In an effort to buy the shares of the company, he looks at what he can buy the shares for on the stock market. So he goes on his computer and downsizes his game of bridge, then looks at the market price or trading price of that company. After reviewing the market price, he notices that the shares are only selling for $30 a share, which is $10 less than what he thought the company was worth per share. Wow, what a great deal. I'm going to buy some shares of this company at a really good deal. Then while I own part of this great company, I'll continue to get paid for owning this asset. In the long run, Buffett purchases the company and it returns to its intrinsic value of $40 a share, and he gets paid money every month from the sale of the product that the company makes. So that's really what he's doing in a nutshell, is he goes in, he could care less what that company is trading for on the market. He just doesn't care. He doesn't even look at that. He goes right to the financial data. He looks at the company and he figures out what he thinks the company's worth. Okay, he thinks it's worth $40 a share. And then he goes and looks at what the company's actually trading for per share. So he'd go on and he'd look and be like, oh, it's trading for 30. I thought it was worth 40. I think it's a good business, so I'm going to buy it. And he does, and then he holds it. And then that asset continues to pay him month in and month out. All right, although Warren Buffett is a really smart guy, he actually learned the fundamentals of value investing from his Columbia professor, Benjamin Graham. Graham is often known as the godfather of value investing, and he's written 2 very famous books. Those books are Security Analysis and The Intelligent Investor. Both of these books are what Warren Buffett mostly attributes his investing knowledge from. The problem with both of these books are they're not entry-level investing books, so they're hard to understand, and if you're a beginner, it's not going to be easy. So that's where we come into the picture. The purpose of this site, buffettsbooks.com, is to teach you how to invest like Warren Buffett. But what we're really doing is taking the complex ideas and lessons from Benjamin Graham's books and teaching them to you in an easy to understand and interactive format. In the end, you'll learn the elements of value investing so you can invest just like Buffett and Benjamin Graham. Okay, so in this lesson, we covered 3 course objectives, and they were the difference between value trading and value investing, which we learned we want to be doing the value investing. What the difference is between an asset and a liability, and we know we want to accumulate as many assets as possible. And the third was who created and uses value investing, and that was obviously Benjamin Graham and Warren Buffett. The key terms that we learned in this lesson were value investing, assets, liabilities, and intrinsic value. As a note from the first lesson, I want to highlight that at the bottom of each lesson page is the location where all the key vocabulary is kept. If you click on the term, a pop-up box will appear and the definition for that term will pop in there. If you'd like to read more on Kyle McDonald's Red Paperclip story, feel free to click on the link below for his book. It'll take you to Amazon if you're interested in buying that. Okay, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.